Hey, it's Sela Social Studies.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sela's Social Studies. Today we're going to be covering the Kansas Nebraska Act. Now, the expansion of slavery was the most important debate in the history of the United States. From the very beginning of our government, there have been arguments, negotiations, or compromises over the institution. It would decide the fate of incoming territories, and it would decide the fate of many presidential elections. This debate over expanding slavery was a large influence on the presidential election of 1852. Running for the Democratic Party was Franklin Pierce, while the Whigs chose Mexican war hero Winfield Scott. Southerners trusted Franklin Pierce because he ran on the promise of honoring the Compromise of 1850 and supporting the Fugitive Slave Act. On the other hand, Scott did not fully support the Compromise of 1850, leading most Southerners to support the Democrat Pierce. The election was a landslide, with Pierce carrying 27 states to Scott's 4. The Kansas Nebraska Act of 1854 was probably the single most significant event that led to the Civil War. Many settlers wanted to move into the area that is now known as Nebraska, even though people were not able to lay claim to any land holdings. The southern states were in no hurry to allow any settlers because the Nebraska Territory was located north of the 3630 parallel line, which outlawed slavery because of the Missouri Compromise of 1820. The Nebraska and Kansas argument appeared when the uneasiness of the North and the South was at its tipping point, reopening the harsh wounds of slavery. The man behind the Kansas-Nebraska Act was a senator from Illinois, Stephen A. Douglas. Senator Douglas introduced a bill to Congress to divide the remainder of the Louisiana Territory into two new territories named Nebraska and Kansas. The senator from Illinois had an underlying goal of building the Transcontinental Railroad through Chicago, a main thoroughfare of the Midwest. Southerners were furious that Douglas proposed this because if both of these territories became states, they would both be above the 3630 line, and because of this, both states would be non-slave-owning states. Douglas knew that passing the Kansas-Nebraska Act meant having the support of the southern states, and with slavery being at the heart of this act, Douglas pushed and gained the support needed to pass the Kansas-Nebraska Act. Douglas decided that the territories would use popular sovereignty, letting the people decide the issue of slavery in each territory. Anti-slavery Northerners were furious that territories that were supposed to be free could become slave states. In May of 1854, the act passed with Southern support when Douglas suggested that Kansas be offered as a slave state. The Kansas-Nebraska Act would go and eliminate the Missouri Compromise's restriction on slavery north of the 3630 line. With the passing of the bill in 1854 and the use of popular sovereignty to decide the fate of slavery in the state, pro-slavery and anti-slavery forces rushed to Kansas and clashed in many violent attacks, which became known as Bleeding Kansas. Northern abolitionists from Wisconsin, Iowa, and Ohio rushed to Kansas to try to sway the vote, while pro-slavery forces from Missouri, called Border Ruffians, rushed to force slavery into Kansas. The result of the first vote, pro-slavery Border Ruffians outnumbered the abolitionists, making slavery legal in the state. The new slave government in Kansas created strict laws, including laws that those who helped fugitive slaves could be put to death. The controversy over slavery affected everyone who lived in Kansas. Anti-slavery groups created a new government in protests of the perceived illegal election. However, it did not matter as President Pierce only recognized pro-slavery legislature from the state. The political repercussions of the act were colossal. The bill went against the Missouri Compromise of 1820, eliminating it and making it unconstitutional. No longer could Congress decide if a territory was slave or free, only the people can. It set a precedent that in future legislative acts, popular sovereignty could be used to decide the issue of slavery. With the emotional issue of slavery involved, no common ground could be found. The bill effectively divided one of the two major political parties in the United States when the Northern Whigs voted against the bill and almost every Southern Whig voted in favor. Northern wings decided to combine their anti-slavery interests and reorganize themselves into a new political party called Republicans. The new abolitionist Republican Party remained primarily in the northern states, dividing the North and the South politically. The new Republican Party chose Abraham Lincoln, a rival of Stephen Douglas, to spread the word of abolition and lead the country back together. With Lincoln in the spotlight, northern states set their sights on a presidential victory, hoping that Lincoln could heal the nation. However, they could not be any more wrong. I'll see you next time.